trust him to do. But this year I had him try to heat seal some cookies at the holidays, and it just wasn't up to my standards, so I kind of kicked him out. I have control issues, but this is a business where you are pretty controlling.
Right. I think that's a very common problem. I'm in a real estate coaching network, and that's like what they're preaching to us all the time, is like letting go of control. It's tough when you are like, this is my standard, and to get someone else to be there, and
It's hard.
Probably not always going to be to that standard, even
No.
if it's close. That's, I think, a struggle of most successful. Because the thing is, you wouldn't have gotten to where you've gotten if you didn't have some of those skills and some of the drive, things like that. And it's really hard to find people who can match that.
And I think also just caring about the product as much as you care about it. And so if you see any one little thing where there's a fingerprint on the bag, or the seal isn't all the way sealed and it's just a tiny little on the edge, I just say, we can't use that one. And I just come right behind him and cut it off and start over again. And it's like, I'll just do it myself because it's faster. I know that it's right. And
he just has to find other ways to support you.
And he does. And he does. He's good at that.
So what direction do you see this going? Do you see yourself doing this kind of forever in the same way? You're comfortable with that? Or would you try to scale it? Have you thought about ever bringing someone in?
I was asked if a brick and mortar was in my future, and I said, absolutely not. I don't want that. I feel like I ran the last business that I worked at, and it wasn't mine, and it was too much. So I don't want that, but I have started teaching classes this year. And that's a new venue that I want to keep doing, because I've gotten really good feedback, and people say they've had a lot of fun doing it and they'll keep doing it. And so I started at Christmas time, which is a wild time to just jump right in, but both classes sold out really quick. And the University Inn in Moscow had me there. And then Craft Studio also had me there. But some people in Pullman are asking me if I will do them privately at their house, and I'm totally open to that. So I think I like doing the custom orders and I like doing that kind of stuff, but I think I'm craving again just working with people because I'm alone a lot during this process and all day. So being able to do these with people at their house or for a party or girls' night or something is something that I want to keep doing. And so less customs, more social events.
And probably just kind of fun to do something totally different.
It is.
Pass along some of the knowledge and skills.
But that is
just
a confidence
don't train somebody
issue.
too well. You might get direct confidence.
I have looked around, and some of them are actually pretty good. And I just had the first guy to take one of my classes for Easter. And I'm not kidding you, his were the best in the class. And I was like, look at you go. I was pretty impressed. I don't want that to sound sexist, but I was pretty impressed.
There is a skill, right? If you have probably control over your hands, for one, and an art skill, really. Right?
I asked him what he did, and he's a welder.
Oh, there you go.
And I was like, okay, well, there you go.
Makes sense. But you've never really wanted to expand into doing something online where you're like teaching classes?
I think that might be one that I am interested in doing. If I can get it to where I feel, I don't want to say it's good enough, but if it's polished enough to be able to sell the class as a downloadable thing, and they can watch it on Instagram or YouTube or whatever at their convenience. There's a lot of people out there that do that, and then they work with other people that make the cutters for the class, and so it's a package deal. So the cutters get shipped to them, they make their own cookie, and then you walk them through the process. That's something I'm definitely interested in doing. I think that there's a lot I could share to help people in technique-wise and learning how to do it, which is wild to say because I was such a beginner at one point. But I like that part. It's fun to teach.
It's probably fun to see people make improvements and feel like they can do it.
Yeah, of course. And someone asked me, they said, aren't you afraid? And they're like, are you afraid that somebody from these classes is going to launch their own cookie? I was like, absolutely not. Go for it. The more the merrier. Like, there's room for everybody.
No pun intended. Yeah. I think when you've been in a business for a while and you're confident in yourself, it's like, are they really going to do it? Probably not.
Go for it.
And if they're that person, then awesome. Deserve to be my competition if they can take it to that level.
Yes, exactly.
But probably most people are going to take it to
I
my
mean,
level.
there's some local ones that they're very good. And so you want those people that are close to your level or better than you,
Yeah,
honestly, because if you're full, you can say, oh, I don't have any availability, but so, and so
that's
just give it a
cool.
shot. Because you don't really want to send them off to someone that you think is going to, botch them or something. It's
Yeah.
not the goal, but the more the merrier, honestly.
Hmm.
And this area could use more professional cookie people because we get full. I'm so full.
And there are different styles too, right? I even just noticed that on the episode of the cookie show that everybody kind of had their own spin on it.
Oh, yeah.
You have a much different look than a lot of other cookie makers, right?
There's people that they like to paint them, edible paints or paintbrush techniques, or they use only pastels, or they use only deep colors or watercolor and stuff. So everyone's different. And I think the best compliment that I've gotten, this was probably, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years ago, and they commented and said, I always know that it's your set before I know that it's your set when they see a picture. And that's what you want. You want your brand to be like, oh, those are Casey cookies, like for sure. She made those. And it's got to be something about the piping or something about the lettering or something where,
I think it's also the artwork, right? You have a style, I would say.
and I don't like empty space on cookies. I don't like really simple ones. And so mine are pretty filled. I don't like a lot of room for nothing. So that's one of my things, I think.
Have you seen any trends during an economic downturn or something like that where maybe it feels like inflation kind of hit a couple years ago? Did you see any changes? Maybe people are kind of holding back on not doing this as much?
You definitely saw it a few years ago where people weren't really doing parties. They weren't really doing anything like that. And you can kind of see when it gets a little low. And I remember asking Nick, I'm like, do you think I should just get something else? He's no, just be patient. It'll work out. And he is very laid back and everything's going to work out. It's all going to be fine. And I'm the one that spins. I mean, like a hamster on a wheel all the time. And it's a worry thing. I don't know if that's a lady thing. I don't know. But it's constant. And luckily, I feel like it's turned up. People they're celebrating more. But I do notice that people don't do a lot of big parties out here. In the South, big parties. So I don't know if it's just
I think that's definitely a
different.
cultural thing. And I think COVID definitely changed a lot of things too. But I think just people are more on like social media instead of like in person than they were 20 years ago or
I
whatever.
know.
So
I
some
get
of that
kind of sad about
changes.
that.
And I've heard in the really down economic times, people actually still want to do that special thing, right? We may not go on the trip, but our child's first birthday, we're still going to spend the money. So
And
there's
I'm
probably a little bulletproof there.
I'm really grateful because I know that it's expensive. I mean, it's an expensive thing and it's a luxury item, to be honest with you. It's not an everyday thing. So I'm just really grateful that people keep coming back and people have ordered from me from their bridal shower and then the wedding and then the baby shower. And now their kid is 4 years old or 5 years
That's
old and
pretty
they
cool.
keep one from every set like in their freezer, like a little cookie catalog. And so I'm just really grateful that people keep coming back to me because that means one, hopefully they haven't found anyone better, but also my prices aren't blowing you out the water where they're like, absolutely not, we can't do that now.
Kirsten and I were talking about it for her business. There's probably people who are hiring her and you for a birthday party or whatever, that sometimes the moms or dads are involved too, but a lot of times moms are organizing it. They just want it taken care of, right?
Oh,
like just
absolutely.
being like, we can get this really nice item. Maybe we don't have to do a cake, or maybe we can just do a basic cake because we have these amazing looking cookies.
Yes. And they'll reach out and say, hey, this party's getting kind of big. We have 50 people coming. And do you think we need a cookie for everyone? And I always say, no, I don't think you need one for everyone because there's ways to do it where it's more budget friendly. And instead of using the cookie as a cookie favor for everybody, you can set them up in little clusters on a little stand by the cake or just on this table, or when you're walking in and there's a welcome table, just a little cluster there. And not everyone's going to take one. And so there's ways to be more budget. But Kirsten and I, we keep we kept overlapping on parties, I think,
Yeah.
before we really knew each other. And so they would say, oh, we're doing with Palouse balloons. And so one time I got a text from her and she was like, hey, are you using a specific font on these cookies? Because you can do it on the board or the sign and the balloons and stuff. And we've been in this business long enough that we're like, yes, I'm using this, or these are the colors I'm using. And so behind the scenes, we're actually saying, this is the blue I'm using for the baby shower. Okay, cool. And I don't think the client even knows that we're trying to match each other.
That's very cool.
So when they show up, it looks nice and put together, and they didn't have to worry about that.
That's really awesome. And they don't even know that
No.
you guys talked. How would you find out about that? From the client then, or?
We text like all the time, random things, but I'll say, oh, are you doing balloons for whatever? And she'll say, oh, I'm doing that. Or, horse party or boy baby shower, or that's the theme or whatever. And I'll say, yes, I'm doing those. And then she's, are you using a powder blue or using this slate? Or we talk about it and it just comes up in conversation.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in today, Casey.
Thanks for having me.
Casey Bakes Creates, right?
Yes.
That's the company. And if people want to talk to you about getting custom cookies, how can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram. My email's up there. Just be patient with my email responses. Anyone that's new, be patient. But I'm not above a text. My phone number's out there, so text me. It's right on there. And I love to work with everyone local, so come find me.
So just plan ahead. Don't wait till the last minute.
Yes,
right?
do not wait till the last minute. I hate saying no, and I will work through the night with no sleep to avoid saying no sometimes. But please don't make me.
Yes. All right. Thanks for coming in.
Thank
it was
you.
great having you.
It's fun.
This has been the Pullman, Moscow, and Beyond podcast with Jordan Vorderbruggen, a podcast where we get to know interesting people here on the Palouse. This week's episode was hosted at the beautiful property Jordan has listed for sale, 1325 Southwest Panorama Drive in lovely Pullman, Washington. If you'd like to check out that property, visit panorama.pullmanmoscow.com. You can find new episodes of the Pullman, Moscow, and Beyond with Jordan Vorderbruggen podcast at pullmanmoscow.com/podcast or wherever podcasts are found.